All right, this is standard 6.33, so you should be on page 5 of your packet. I need you to write down the standard that I have circled, and then we're going to move right along. All right, Elijah's going to read this first paragraph for us. That is this right here. So Elijah, go to it.
The land of Zhou was a vassal state of the Shang dynasty. A powerful leader of the Zhou Wang led an army across the Yellow River to defeat the king of the Shang dynasty. King Wu established a new dynasty, the Zhou dynasty.
Right. Okay, who knows what a vassal state is?
I've heard of vessel.
You should know what a vassal state is because it's right here in purple. All right, so a vassal state, let me explain a vassal state. A vassal state is a civilization that is, in a sense, owned by another civilization, though they still have control over their territory. Okay, so let me explain this to you. Our county, Greene County, right? Do we have some little small towns in Greene County?
Yes.
Name me one. Chucky, name me another one. Mossine, name me another one. Greenville, name me another one. Mohawk, name me another one. Belleton, name me another one. No, that's not part of our county. One more. South Green. Okay. Now, if we lived in a dynasty where the king was in control, he would be in control of all of Greene County. But Mossine, Chucky, Belleton, South Green, those little cities, those little civilizations, they would live on his land and they would rule themselves, but they would be ultimately owned by who?
Him.
By the king of Greene County, right? Okay, so that's what's happening here. The land of Zhou, right here. This was an area within the Shang dynasty. Okay? So who owned who?
The king owns.
The king of who?
Shang dynasty.
The king of the Shang dynasty did what?
Owned the Zhou.
All right, he actually owned the land of the Zhou. Okay? All right, now, there was a powerful leader in Zhou because right here it says in your vassal state that they had control over their territory. So they had a leader. Doesn't Mossine have a mayor?
Yes.
Yes.
They do?
Doesn't Belleton have a mayor?
Yes.
They have a little police station.
I've met him.
Okay, all right. So see, they have someone that's in control over their territory. But ultimately, they have to answer to the mayor of Greene County, right?
Yeah.
So even though the Zhou, the land of the Zhou, had a powerful leader, who owned them?
The Shang dynasty.
The Shang dynasty. Okay? All right, let's keep going. This powerful leader's name was Zhou Wu Wang. Now, girls, if you don't have a date this weekend to see Cinderella, there's your man that would be glad to take you out. Actually, he can't because he's dead. But, ha ha ha, that was funny. All right, let's keep going. How many is with me so far? All right. Yes.
Okay, like our mayor, would it run all the other mayors?
Would what? Say that again.
Does our mayor like rule all them other mayors?
Well, ultimately, if Mossine makes a decision, if it's going to affect all of Greene County, then Greene County's mayor has to make sure it's okay. They have to approve it by him. But if it only affects Mossine, then he's probably going to say, okay, go ahead, whatever. All right, now, this powerful leader, Zhou Wu Wang, he led an army. So that tells us that the land of Zhou had their own army, right?
Yeah.
He led them across the Yellow River. What's another name for Yellow River?
China Sorrow.
China Sorrow. What else?
Huanghe River.
Huanghe River.
That's what I said.
Okay? And he went over and he defeated the king of the Shang dynasty. All right, now, when he defeated him, he set up a new dynasty. Guess what he's going to call it?
The Zhou
The Zhou dynasty. Okay? Now, the Zhou dynasty ruled from, write this down, 1045 BC to 256 BC. Okay, we are on the timeline. Both of these states are in BC. So what am I going to do to those two numbers? Subtract. So how long did they rule? Layla says 789 years. Who agrees with her?
Me.
A couple of people? How many of you are still figuring?
Me.
So, Layla was correct, 689 years. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we figured the Shang Dynasty the other day, and it was 700 and what?
50.
45.
750.
705.
705. It was 705. So who ruled longer?
The
Zhou. Okay, as a matter of fact, it was the longest ruling dynasty in China's history. All right? Now, we're going to open up a new flip chart here, and we're going to label it Zhou Dynasty. All right, first note. What did I tell you the Zhou Dynasty was? Hint.
the longest dynasty.
A vassal state.
It was a vassal state. Okay? It was a vassal state.
It was along the roller.
A vassal state of who?
The Shang dynasty.
Yes, the Shang Dynasty. All right, did they, speaking of the Zhou, did they have a leader?
Yes.
Who was their leader?
Zhou Wu Wei.
Yes. Zhou Wu Wang. Was he powerful?
Yes.
Yes.
He had an army.
So I can write right here, powerful leader. He had a what, Daniel? He had an army. Now the reason that he could have an army and the reason that he could be a leader is because just because he's a vassal state, I told you they had control over their own territory. So even though the Shang owned them, they could still control what they did in their territory, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what did he do with his army?
They made him fight.
He made him healthy.
He led a what?
Over the Yellow River. Army.
Led a...
Army.
Oh.
An attack on the Shang dynasty.
Alright, there you go. He led an attack on the Shang Dynasty.
What?
He led an attack.
That's like a.
What did he cross?
The
Yellow River.
Yes.
What's called the Yinghang River?
The Huanghe River, or the Chinese people call it China's Sorrow.
Wait,
Alright, he led an attack on the Shang Dynasty, crossed the Yellow River. Did he defeat them?
Yes.
Okay, so Shang Dynasty was defeated.
Bless you.
What did he start that was new?
The
Zhou Dynasty.
Alright, he started a new dynasty called the Zhou.
So like most of the leaders in back in ancient.
Alright, when we get this all written, we're going to go back to our regular slide and we're going to move on to the next one. And we're going to play a game with this. Okay? Alright, in class, some of you were able to play this game. The goal is to put all of these different sentences together in order and create a paragraph. Once that paragraph is created, you are going to write it on your paper. So, on the paper that you have notes on, draw a line And we're going to put the word paragraph here just to clue you in that that's what you're going to be writing next. And then this slide will show you the correct order. Alright, we have decided that we are going to play the game live and record it. So here we go. Alright, Layla, what do you think is the first sentence of this paragraph?
Joe was a vassal state of the Shang.
Perfect. Move it up there. Alright, pick somebody.
Marissa.
What?
Okay, this was the first one. Joe was a vassal state of the Shang dynasty. What's next? Alright, she thinks she's found it. Wu Wang was a powerful leader. Check. Alright, pick somebody, Marissa. Oh, Aaliyah. Okay, Aaliyah, come on up. Okay, she thinks she's got it. He led an army across the Huanghe River. Check. Okay, he was a powerful leader. He took his army, he led them across the river. Who's next, Keister? All right, Elijah. What's next? He led the army across the river. What did he do next? He overthrew the king of the Shang Empire? Who agrees? Check. He got it. Okay, Elijah, pick somebody. Quick, Elijah. Hey, Oliver, what did he do after he overthrew the king? He's got 3 choices. He established a new dynasty. Who agrees? Check. Okay, Oliver, pick somebody. Quick, quick, quick. Quick, quick, quick. Okay, Harper. We've got 2 choices left. He established a new dynasty, and then what? The dynasty was called the Zhou dynasty. Excelente. And Daniel, do the last one. Daniel, you can't miss this one. The Zhou dynasty was the longest ruling dynasty in China. All right, your job is to now write this in paragraph form tonight and bring it in tomorrow. Or if you got time to do it in class, you'll hang on to it until tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Okay, so we're going to move ahead. I hope that you have this paragraph written. I'm not real sure where I stopped off because I stopped in the middle of recording during class today, and then I waited until this afternoon when you guys were going on to your special classes to finish the video. So I do believe that we are to our next slide, which is also part of 6.33, and it is about the government in the Zhou dynasty. Okay, so we're going to take notes on this. So if you want to draw a line under your paragraph, then we're going to start new notes. All right, so on the top of this note, we're going to write government in the Zhou dynasty. Whoops. There we go. Okay, and this is still part of 6.33 standard. All right, I'm going to read this paragraph to you. The early leaders of the Zhou dynasty introduced the idea of the mandate of heaven. This concept taught that the leaders gained their ability to rule from the gods. They believed that when the Zhou overthrew the Shang dynasty, this was because the Shang had become tyrants and the gods allowed them to fall. The government of the Zhou was based on the feudal system. Now, if you don't know what the feudal system is, I have a definition right here. In a feudal system, a peasant or a worker received a piece of land in return for serving, okay, so in return for serving a lord or king, especially during times of war. Now, we talked about that in class yesterday. Today, we talked about if you owned a piece of land called a fief, then you were allowed to live there as long as if an invasion would occur, you would fight for that king's dynasty and for the king. They were expected to perform various duties in exchanging for their own fiefs or areas of land. So some of you, I told you what a fief was, some of you I did not, but a fief is an area of land. Okay, moving back to this paragraph. The government of the Zhou was based on the feudal system. The emperor divided the land into fiefs that were usually ruled by his relatives. The nobles who ruled the relatives, and you need to know that most of the time the relatives were the nobles. The nobles who ruled the fiefs basically owned the farmers who worked their lands. All right, we're going to take notes now. So I've told you to go ahead and set this up to say government in the Zhou dynasty. The first thing that we're going to write down is that the early leaders introduced the idea of something. So the early leaders they introduced an idea. Whoops. This idea was called the Mandate of Heaven. All right, now let's go back to our notes. All right, the Mandate of Heaven was a concept. It was an idea. It was a way of doing things that taught that the leadership gained their authority to rule from the gods. All right, so the Mandate of Heaven meant a person gained their leadership authority from the gods. So basically, the Shang believed that when they overthrew, that was wrong. The Zhou believed that when they overthrew the Shang dynasty, it was because the Shang dynasty was becoming tyrants. All right, so a tyrant is a very cruel leader or ruler. Okay, a very cruel ruler. So since they believed that the Shang were tyrants, then this would explain why they believed they were able to conquer them. They believed that they were tyrants and the gods had allowed the Shang dynasty to fall. Okay, I'm going to start a new bullet point here, and I'm going to say that the Zhou dynasty, it was based on the feudal system. The feudal system is like we talked about just a minute ago. It's when a peasant or a worker receives a piece of land called a fief, and in order to get that piece of land, in return, they have to fight for the king or serve the king and the Lord, especially fight during times of war to help protect the dynasty. Okay, so that is a fief. It's an area of land. So that is how the feudal system works. The emperor divided the land into fiefs. Okay, so in the feudal system, the emperor divides the land into fiefs. These fiefs are pieces of land. Okay, so chunks of land. These fiefs are then given, and I use that term loosely because ultimately it still belonged to the king. But these fiefs were given, or you might say loaned out, sort of, to farmers. Okay? In return, the farmers had to serve the Lord or king. Especially, whoops, totally messed that up. I don't know why I did that. Especially in times of war. Now, these fiefs that were given out, you wouldn't just give them to the farmers and trust that they took care of them. The fiefs had rulers, okay, people who took care of them. These were relatives of the king. They were also known as nobles, and they oversaw the fief. They made sure that the farmers were doing what they needed to do to care for that piece of land. All right, so let's read over everything we have so far. We have government in the Zhou dynasty. Early leaders introduced an idea. That idea was called the Mandate of Heaven. That Mandate of Heaven stated that a person gained the leadership authority from the gods, okay? So they gained their authority to rule from the gods. Now, the Zhou believed that the reason that the Shang dynasty fell was because they had become tyrants. A tyrant is a very cruel ruler. All right, so they believed that the Shang had become tyrants, therefore the gods must have allowed the Shang dynasty to fall. Now, the Zhou dynasty that just took over, they operated on a feudal system. That feudal system means that the emperor divides the land into fiefs. Fiefs are pieces of land that the king owns. And these fiefs can't be just given to the farmers in trust that they'll take care of them. They had rulers who were relatives known as nobles. These nobles ruled over the fief. The fiefs were given to the farmers, and in return the farmers had to serve the lord or king, especially in times of war. Okay guys, this slide should look familiar to you because we have done a slide like this in class today. This is when you have to line the sentences up in the correct order to make sure that you have a paragraph. So instead of giving you the answers to this one, you're going to line it up, bring it into class tomorrow because I told you I was taking this up as homework, and we'll see if you got it right tomorrow. All right, good luck. See you, bye.